Welcome back to This Is Now, Parenting Teens Today. If you haven't heard, we are the podcast for anyone who is raising a teenager and trying not to lose their mind. My name is Tiffany Dogie. I'm president and CEO of Children's Harbor. I spend my days with 29 teenagers who are all trying to rebuild their lives and in foster care, and I spend my nights FaceTiming my 2 grandbabies, which means I am adept at managing temper tantrums with multiple age ranges.
And I'm Eric Chafin with Children's Harbor, and also have 3 kids of my own, 2 teenagers, so that's always interesting to navigate.
You're a parenting ninja.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I like to think that way.
But today's episode is a big one. We are going to talk about whether or not, and it's a constant internal conversation in the office, are travel teams really worth it? So here you are, your kid's good. Good. Everybody thinks their kid's a star athlete, but your kid's good. Maybe they're really good. And your coach is saying, it's time to explore a travel team before you sign that check, before you write off 8 months of your life. We want you to be able to make an informed decision. Is it worth it for your family? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because travel sports are not just about talent. They're about time. They're about identity. They're about mental health. They're about pressure. So today we're going to talk about what parents really need to know to think through before they commit.
And we have an all-star lineup today, Tiffany.
Yes.
This is really cool. I'm excited about this. And if you guys could, really appreciate you guys being here, but if you could just introduce yourselves so everybody knows your background and where you come from.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm Lauren Bernheim, the founder of NeuroHealth Treatment Centers. We are a mental health facility, and we help treat people that suffer from depression, anxiety, OCD, PTSD, addiction, and we do that through some cutting-edge technology called TMS, which stands for Transcranial Magnetic Stimulation, and it really is a game changer for people who are suffering from those illnesses. It's huge in Europe. It's been FDA approved since 2007, so there's we're starting to get more popular with it here, and it's starting to catch on. The other treatment we do is Spravato, which is an S-ketamine, also FDA approved. We take all major medical insurances, so it really is, like I said, just revolutionary for the psychiatry world, and really helping a lot of people. That's my day. We do medication management as well, but that's my day job. My night job is being a professional Uber driver to games, practices, one-on-one trainings, all of that fun stuff.
For how many kids?
3.
3. Yeah. Women who have 3 kids should be worshipped. I really believe that.
I get home at like 10 o'clock every night.
Oh.
Around that time.
And why is youth sports a thing for you? I
played myself, and I grew up in that whole world of youth sports, so I love it. I'm completely, I live vicariously through my kids right now, and it's like, we're like a split family, because my husband did not grow up, he grew up playing sports, but not at like the travel level. So he thinks I'm just a crazy soccer mom, and he does not, it's such a huge commitment. So it really is like, it takes over your life. But for me, I love it. He says to me, you rather be late for a work meeting than be a minute late for a 13-year-old soccer game.
Okay.
It's kind of true.
That's a different
podcast.
podcast.
I know. Sorry. All right.
I'm the same way. So
I'm all in.
So introduce yourself.
Oh, sure. Dirk Stephens. My wife and I own a website company based out of Utah, but we are in South Florida half the year. That's how we met you guys, is we build websites for lawyers. The company's been around about 20 years. We've owned it for the last 5. But my whole professional life, I was in sales. Mm-hmm. And if you're any good at sales, you can get a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of creativity. And so I was able to get off work a little early sometimes. And that got me into, I think, my first job coaching Little League football, I think was maybe 97, 98.
Wow, you're old.
Wow, yeah.
I'm old. He looks great.
That was a late 1990s.
Late. Yeah, it was. I started out as an assistant coach on my brother's 12-year-old football team. Same type of family. We grew up. I'm one of 4 boys. We played every sport. I mean, it was that, right? So I started coaching. I mean, how was that? 30 years ago, give or take. Started in Little League, worked my way up. I finished a couple of years ago in high school when work really took off, and my wife was like, you're done being late for work meetings. You now got to be on time for work meetings.
Yes.
And so I had to officially retire a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that perspective.
Yeah.
I'm one of 4 boys too.
There you
so
go.
There you go. Which
There you
which
go.
number
I
in the
changed my
order were
statement.
you?
Women
I'm
with
number
4
one.
children should be
Right.
worshipped.
You're number 1.
I'm
Right.
number 1.
Okay.
Very true.
Yep.
Okay.
Where are you?
I'm a double middle. I'm on the.
Are we competing?
Third.
Are we doing
No, we're
Never,
just.
I'm a
never
double
feel this,
medal.
this table will be
Everything's a
any
competition.
competition.
But yes, to the moms that are doing
4
doing
children.
the
I
work.
redact my statement. 4 children
boys,
should
4
be
boys,
worshipped.
And we were all soccer players from age about 4 or 5 all the way up through high school and college.
So this is not a question, but why do they choose soccer and not football? Injury?
No, I think it was mostly because our oldest brother got into soccer early and was very good at it. We had been in Houston at the time, and that was a big sport there. Not that football is not a big sport in Houston as well.
Right. Just a
And
bit.
so we just kind of followed that lead of our oldest brother, who was kind of like our, hero in a way. And I'm sure your little brothers think of you that way.
I don't think they do anymore.
So what's your day job?
So I work with Fort Lauderdale United FC. We are a professional sports club for soccer, men's and women's. We are a youth sports academy for soccer, boys and girls, volleyball academy for girls, and soon to be potentially some other sports getting brought into that.
Fantastic.
So
You're not allowed to tell,
I
are you?
haven't. I don't want to
Okay,
leak
fine.
any
We're not gonna-
inside.
All right,
inside
fine.
news.
Strike it from the
But
record.
yeah, no,
Strike it
it's,
from the
it's-
record.
it's
We're not breaking any news.
not yet. Maybe the next
Break some
episode.
news.
We're gonna put the heat on
Maybe
Dirk.
the next episode. But most of my career, I've been in software sales in healthcare, usually with startup companies, helping them find a marketing, sales, operational sense when you didn't necessarily have the full budget to go out and hire 20 people. Can you hire 2 or 3 and kind of make it work until you get to a success level and start hitting that growth patterns and help them really just kind of manage those difficult times in the takeoff of the companies, really connecting them with new clients and then building up into the point where either you sell the company or you can hire out and build a bigger office. So when I came into the soccer club, we had kind of a similar situation as a new club. It's the first year for the club, and there's hair on fire moments at times. There's a great team there. Everybody wears a lot of hats. It's never a boring day. I'll say that. And
I
so
say the same
we're
thing about
very
our
proud. We're very proud of our teams. We're the only club in South Florida with a professional women's team. And so we play in what's called the USL Super League, which is the top tier in the USL. We just added our men's team, which is going to be launching. We're playing a summer league right now, but it's going to be launching officially in January in the USL. And so these are like really big stories for us and big news for us, and we're super happy to be able to work in the front office and support the teams. I specifically do the sponsorship partnerships, as well as ticketing, season ticketing, group ticketing, and then kind of experience for the fans and all different types of fun stuff that we're creating over there for our total family experience. And it's really, the way our owner talks about the club, I love it, because he talks about it not just as a sports club, but really as a community club for everybody. So we're trying to bring an experience for everybody. That's wonderful.
Thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Dirk,
Yeah,
you're
let's
up
go.
first.
Okay, hit me.
You've been coaching high school since the late 1900s.
Yes.
You've established your
Bless
ancient.
you.
You're ancient. So how do you know the difference between good and wow, this kid has a future,
Yeah.
and this family should explore more?
Yeah. A ton of kids will come across your table with talent and very similar talent, right? Now, there are those few kids that are like elite, but I mean, if we're talking numbers, it's only about 7% of all high school athletes get to play into college, and in football, it's only about 2% that actually get to play football in college. So there definitely has to be that elite athletic ability, but the main difference, and I could give you a million examples of the kids that get to go on and play, or the kids that are really good, not only have it physically, they have it mentally. These are the kids that they generally get really good grades. They maybe take extra classes. They're involved in their community or church or something like that. They stay after practice to get extra reps. They spend more time in the weight room. They join travel teams or get individual position coaching on their own. And those kids that are working harder are the ones that make it, right? Because we've had kids that have had just as much talent, but their weight room, you can clock their weight room. They're in, they're out, no extra work. They don't show up to practice knowing the full playbook, whereas the other kids do. And so it's for us, if we know this kid can get, it's way more on the mental side than the physical side.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think you nailed that. Because I
Yeah.
think that, I mean, just the kids that, you're right, there's so many kids that have the same abilities and the same level of talent, but the ones that show up for practice early, the ones that are studying those plays and learning them and staying afterwards and doing the extra one-on-one trainings, those are the ones that you pick up on.
Yeah,
that I
you
think have
can't,
what it takes.
if you only do what the coach says,
Right.
the bare minimum of what the coach says and that bare minimum of practice time, it's not going to work. You've
Right,
gotta
and
have
also
that
like
extra.
watching. That was one thing that like growing up for me playing soccer, I played soccer like crazy, but I hated watching soccer. Like I never watched it. Now, like watching tape and watching, the professional teams play, it's a part of it. But growing up,
Yeah.
it wasn't. So the kids that also watch that
Yes.
and want to put that time into it is, I think,
Film was a big thing, especially with football.
Football
but,
for sure,
But
yeah.
it goes more to they're willing to do that extra stuff on their own time
Right.
versus just, well,
Right.
my coach said I have to be to practice for 3 hours and I have to lift for 1. But then those other kids are the ones that are after practice running plays, running sprints, doing extra coaching, things like that.
So through that process, where do you think that the travel teams or being a part of a travel team really will help them take the next step or elevate them?
I'm going to give you two different. I have mixed feelings on this, so I'm going to give you two different answers. As a football coach, I can definitely see the benefit of finding a sport early and going at it, right? Because that gets you the more time, it gets you the more experience. Like I understand that. As a parent, I would much rather have my kid play a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
And the problem though with travel teams now though is it's year round.
It's yeah.
there was no
Right?
seasons
No,
anymore.
there's not.
What
It's
happened to
year
football
round.
season,
Yeah, it's
soccer
year round.
season? Yeah.
Well,
It's
and
not
even
so.
even in high school, our technically our football season starts in June and we play till about Thanksgiving, right? That's the season. But now to be competitive, we started our winter workout programs as soon as they got back from New Year's break in January.
Yeah.
And so it encompasses the whole thing. So that's two answers to I like the idea of finding a sport and getting really good at it, but then as a parent, I like the idea of kids playing a bunch of different things and seeing what they like.
Okay. So we're coming from two different perspectives because I mentioned earlier that this is an internal conversation. My son is 30, just to establish that. Eric's got 3. Well, I always consider Ian. He's not. He's like grown,
He's
kind
20.
of. He's a man.
Still,
He's a man child.
He's
He's a man child. He's like not. He's 19.
all are.
I know he's not going to like that.
plays
Sorry,
pickup
Ian.
basketball, I mean,
You're a
so-
man child. So, my kid did Optimus League. He did football, Optimus League, all the way up. Never, ever, ever did we consider travel teams because less than 7%, if not less than 2%, actually play in college. So for us, it was just like, no. Eric, 2 of his kids are in travel teams right now.
Volleyball, yeah.
And I'm going, is this really, what is the benefit of this? So I'm going to you, and I
Sure.
know this is your
That's
whole
okay.
life. But like, most people's kids are never going to play in college. What is
Yep.
the benefit of torturing your entire life? Because it's a huge commitment. What is the real benefit for being involved at this level for normal families?
Where I would start with the conversation is that I don't think going to playing in college or playing professional should be the reason you're getting into it in the first place. Okay. Competitiveness, having the kids challenge themselves. You go into an environment that's not so easy as, say, the rec program. You get better coaching. You get the environment of going up against better competition. And so you can go out there and see what's out there. If you're a player that maybe does want to go to college, but you're not sure yet, maybe you're 10 years old, 12 years old, you're good.
Yeah, what
as
is
you
the
started
start? What is
with.
the start for this? 8?
Oh, 5, 6,
Travel.
7.
Oh. It's
different than it
yeah.
was
For
back.
soccer,
They're
yeah.
starting to do club. Like we have a juniors program.
Wow.
And it's not a super competitive, let's train you to be a professional at 6 years old, but it starts to teach you the basics of soccer and give you a good foundation so that when you hit that 8, 9, 10-year-old spot.
With solid coaching that's safe, because that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I mean, the big thing now for club soccer is the word development. That's the key. They're trying to take this, let's just win championships every year, and that's all we care about is trophies, out of it. Because at the end of the day, a college coach doesn't recruit a kid because they have trophies on their wall. They recruit a kid because they can play better than everybody else when they see them in the, what we call like ID camps. Okay, and so it's about developing soccer players to be the best that they can and to really teach them a couple of things. How to train on their own. Because if you just train with your own team, that's never going to be enough hours. There is a big hour commitment to it if you want to reach those higher levels. It's almost like train with your team for 3 or 4 hours a week, train on your own for a couple hours a week, maybe more. Okay, that's a big thing of it. For travel, though, as well, just the social side of it. You go, you see your team, you love seeing your teammates every time, right? It's such a joy. You're still probably friends with kids from your original club teams.
Yeah.
I know I am.
Sorority.
I know a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a
It's like
cousin
sleepaway camp for-
I have a cousin who grew up in the plantation system. She's still best friends with 3 of the girls from her team because they played for 10 years together. And it's just a great
It's a
journey.
Special bond.
Do they stay in the same, like, let's say your kid starts at age 8.
Yep.
Did they stay in the same group?
Team. They'll stay in the, it's age group bound, so you'll stay in your age group typically. Players do change though, so a player can go from locally here, let's say Plantation to Sunrise to Davie to Fort Lauderdale if they want to come to Fort Lauderdale Academy, But you can move teams, but typically for the most part, at younger ages you stay with your core group.
Right.
Usually when you get to those higher high school years and it's starting to turn into the recruiting years, you start to find the spots that are going to get you exposure to the top college scouts.
I'm going to use the word normal, which is probably not your language at all, but stay with me because I represent the greater whole of parents who are clueless. I'm the clueless parent. So you have a normal kid, average skill set, but loves soccer.
Yeah.
And they are going to be assigned, also not a word, assigned to a group, a team, and they're going to play with that team. But certain kids are going to really stand out. And so my assumption is that there are different levels of skills that they could, normal team, now you're a gifted.
You have like an A team and a B team.
Yes.
There's like
That's-
they have like a GA, an ECNL, and like there's like a couple different levels that you can play at. So when you go try out for a club, you either make like the A team or the B team. And I mean, or you make nothing, but it usually is an A team and a B team.
I would assume that safety is a big, because I'm thinking back to our optimist. None of this, by the way, are on the notes. We're just flying free here.
I love it. I
None
love
of
it.
this.
It's good,
But
man.
I remember, football was our thing. And the skill levels of the coaches were not, I mean, you're talking about dads, like just random
Generally,
dads,
yeah.
somebody's
Right.
older brother.
Yep.
Right.
And there were some major issues because we were team parents where I'm thinking this is not safe. This child's eye is rolling around in his head after a headbutt. We need to take them. We're not going to go back on the field. So I guess one of the positives as I work through my understanding would be that if they're involved in a travel club, that skill set, that coaching is
There's
actually
trainers,
legitimate.
there's
Yeah,
like
it's a whole
medical
other level.
people a lot of times there, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
on the
yeah.
yeah.
You also get a better physical training on the side to strengthen your body, increase your agility, your balance is better, and so you're not getting those non-contact injuries as often. Sometimes it happens, but I think it minimizes that. In soccer, the big thing is teaching kids to dribble with their head up so that they're not running into things and getting blindsided. And, once you get to that level, the game opens up for you. It slows down. You're a lot better. So that's a big thing in coaching is trying to teach players how to have their head up when they're
I
playing.
have a question to follow up your question.
Go for
Mainly
it.
towards like
We're off the rails here.
Mainly towards
No idea where to go
For a
next.
while.
the soccer type club thing. When I was growing up, the only kids that were on a travel team were the elite kids.
Yeah.
Right. So it happened with kids on the baseball and the basketball team where like 1 or 2 kids out of your group would get to go be on the travel team. It was generally very, very competitive.
Right.
nowadays, and I want to know if this is the true. I'm going to leave them nameless in case they watch this. But
You never know.
friends, 2 little boys who are on baseball travel squads.
Oh.
And we talked about A, B, C. Like these guys would be F level kids. Like just they're just it's way more like a rec league thing.
Right.
But they've got everything that goes with the travel team along with it. So I wanted to know from you guys is, do you prefer it where it's limited in size and it's more the high quality, high echelon type kids, or are you guys more, if we can find players, we'll find a club team for them? Doesn't matter their skill set.
You want to go first?
You take that one.
To me, I love coaching any kid at any level. Okay, we do a free clinic for kids that it's their first day of playing soccer. They've never seen a soccer ball before, up to kids that are on a professional track. It doesn't matter to me. It matters what the parents and what the kids enjoy the most and what's the best experience for them. There's different tiers and levels, as you were explaining, where the A-flight kids are on this professional track. They're going to be traveling all over the state, maybe all over the country. They're going to be spending a lot of money. And then there's the kids that are just going to kind of be playing locally, hopefully getting better coaching, hopefully having a better experience with it. And so I don't necessarily think there's a negative to it as long as they're willing to put in whatever time, and
yes.
financial differences there is from rec soccer to club soccer. Okay. I would also say this. I don't think parents should throw their kids into something that they're either not ready for or that they don't want to do just to say my kid plays at this club
Yes.
and to force that on them. It needs to be kind of, but also don't let your kid just do nothing because they don't want to do anything. Right. You know, kind of like a balance in the conversation. I can remember times as a kid where I would be trying out for like where I grew up in New Jersey was our state team, our ODP team. You pick the 18 best kids at each age group, and you make your team or you don't. And the first couple of years I didn't make it, and it's heartbreaking because you think you're somebody until you're not. And I didn't want to keep going forward with it, but my dad convinced me, hey, just you got to work harder, you got to invest a little bit more. Here's, kind of where the other kids are. You can get there, you just have to do a little bit more. And so it worked out, and I did 4 years of it. And so that changed my trajectory because then you're getting noticed by college coaches, you're playing against better competition. And so there's a balance between the conversations that the parents need to have with the kid and to try to find the right spot for them. You want to push them, but you don't want to dictate, I think.
Lauren, with your background and actually, playing competitively, how did that shape you and what who you are today and also your kids? How would that lay out?
I think it gave me like a really just growing up in that whole sports world. I think it gave me a really good understanding of what kids can really get out of youth sports. I think it's discipline, it's work ethic, it's competitiveness, it's leadership, it's teamwork, everything, you mentioned, it's all those things. So I feel like they can take that, and that's just not, I took what I learned and I applied it to like when I got into the, real world. I think I learned more being a collegiate athlete when for those 4 years than I did in the classrooms for all those reasons. So nowadays, I feel like kids are so easily sucked into their phones and their technology. So you don't have to play. You could play at the rec level. You could play at the travel level. You could just play at your school level. But I think that it's so important to pick a sport. So like in my household, it's a non-negotiable. Like pick a sport. I don't care what level you play at, because it forces them to like have to go and show up to something, have to get exercise, have to be part of a team and be with other kids. So it doesn't matter if you're great, you're good, you're like okay. I just think I think all kids should like pick a sport and play it because you get so much out of it.
Dedication to the team too. When Jordan was small, it was, all of the kids did the same thing. I don't want to do it anymore because you're like 9 or 10 years old. I don't want to go. And you don't have to play. You'll sit on the bench and be the water boy, but you're showing up for your team. Until the end of the season, and then when we can talk about what we do next season, but you're finishing the season.
Right.
We made a commitment.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
At times.
Do you make them like, what if they don't want to do this anymore?
Well, no, it's actually, our house started with Ian, so he's always been super competitive, from an athlete perspective. So it was always flag football, there was baseball, and then we just kind of graduated into mostly just flag football. So all my girls have played flag. Now they're into volleyball. So, but it's one of those things that I thought my son was actually super like dedicated and just dialed in. It's actually my daughters that are, Lauren
More
can tell
driven.
you.
Same with me.
Oh my! I mean, just dialed in, and it's funny. They're nice until they get onto the
No,
court.
they're driven.
I'm like, where'd this come from? I'm asking my where
I know
this
exactly where
come
it came from.
And I'm like, wow, this is amazing and the dedication and the mental discipline that my 16-year-old has. I'm like, I wish I had that at 16.
Right.
I'm like, I mean, you had it, but not like that. So.
I think it's also important to note that like just because you play for if you want to go play a travel team, that doesn't mean that you're like have to want to play in college or after. I mean that for some people it's a goal like you talked about. It's a very small percentage of people that make it to that level, but playing through high school like that keeps the kids out of trouble. You know what I mean? Like it keeps them focused on something. So I think that that's also important that just because you are going to take that jump into a travel team, it doesn't mean oh my gosh now I got college and professional teams and all that. Doesn't that's such a small percentage of the kids. But
Is your perspective different? Is your perspective different as a mom
right.
than when you were an athlete?
I don't know.
How did that change?
I loved soccer so much that like I was always playing. I would find a wall to kick a ball against by myself. Like it was just I was trying to find anybody in my neighborhood to play, and I want my kids to experience what I experienced through like just different teams that I played on, and then obviously at the college level, just having that like those friendships that I played at Barry University, so I played with girls at it's an international college, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Scotland, that are all over the place that I have just a special bond with, and I want that for my kids. I think it makes the college experience easier because you come in for preseason, you already start knowing your team, you already start knowing these girls, and then you already have like a little family before you even, because college is hard for kids to start that you just walk into it, but you have your team. So I feel like it was such an amazing experience, and it's always like I struggle with, gosh, am I pushing, like, because I want it so bad for, my daughter's the one that really plays, so it's like, am I pushing what I want on her, or does she really want this? So I think it's important to have like an open line of communication with your kids to constantly check in and say, hey, is this like, we don't talk about are you going to play at the college level all the time, but what are your goals? Like, what do you want to do with soccer? Are you just having fun? And you can tell, like, I mean, she does play at a high level, so like, but the burnout and the year-round versus the seasons is huge. So I always check in, and if she there's practice Monday through Thursday game, you're playing 6 days a week a lot of times.
I'm
6
glad
days a
that
week.
you mentioned burnout, because one of the things that we do at Children's Harbor is we offer family support services. So families all across Broward County can receive free in-home counseling for the season of struggle that they're going through. We provide a licensed therapist comes out, they provide counseling. You would not believe how many referrals that we get across the county from families who have kids involved with travel teams, and their child has reached a level of burnout because of the schedule. Managing or balancing, and so the therapist is coming in to teach that child how to balance the academic demands, which are often just as high, because that goes hand in hand with the disciplined athletics, with the expectations of their team. Burnout is a real thing.
Have you found a certain age group, or is it boys versus girls, or is it universal, like
as I am
12 to 18, or what are you thinking?
Don't quote me. I'm sure I'll get a phone call from the director, but I'm almost positive all of the cases that I've received briefings on were females. Female.
Well, I got to tell you, Abby being 16 and she was playing 3 sports: lacrosse, flag football, and volleyball, and she got to a point where we just knew that, she was up 1 o'clock in the morning doing schoolwork just to keep going, and I didn't even know she was self-regulating. Yeah. And I'd come in and I'd like, what are you doing? I'm just trying to get chemistry done. I'm trying to get this done. I'm like, okay, we need to talk. We need to kind of like back up a little bit. Let's drop a sport.
So what's the is that? How do you counsel families through that? As a club, how do you support they have academic expectations.
Yep.
If their life is not soccer or softball or volleyball, how do you support your families or coach your families through that?
I don't know if I'm an expert in it, to be honest with you. Most of the kids that I coached growing up that wanted to put in all that time, a lot of it is about cutting the fat on the other things, some of the social things in life that you have to give that up.
Yeah.
You give up some.
That becomes your social.
That becomes your social. You have to find the balance between, all right, I can't go out with my friends, I can't sit around and watch TV, all the other kind of extra things that you might have wanted to do in your life. You're kind of like, push those aside. It's soccer or it's whatever sport that you want to take on, because it's school from morning to afternoon, and then that and then homework, and then hopefully you can get to sleep at a decent hour, which is rare. You become a professional sleeper sometimes in an off period of class, or I used to sometimes go to the nurse's office and take naps.
I
know,
don't even
wow.
have room to criticize, because when I was in high school, it wasn't sports. I was a theater major, and it was the same level of commitment. So it was the same, like trying to fit in sleep. So I don't even have any room for the sports. It's if you have a discipline, that's you're sacrificing for it. If
I
you have
think
an
you-
area of discipline, you are sacrificing.
And I think you also have to read your kid. So I feel like if you do feel like they're burnt out, you should be able to let them skip a practice here and there. If like you miss a lot because it's year round. So it's like, okay, if you want to go study at your friend's house on a Wednesday night instead of go to practice, like every once in a blue moon, you let them do that, and you call the coach and you let them know, and they understand. I mean, practice is 4 days a week. You miss so much, but I feel like when we grew up, like, we were bored. We didn't have technology. So it's like you looked around and you're like, who wants to go play dodgeball? Who wants to go? Is there?
I
who else
love
play catch?
dodgeball. Are they allowed to play dodgeball anymore? Or is that like a thing?
that's
Like,
like
my
not
goodness,
a thing.
Hey,
Dodgeball.
we had
I think it's a
club
professional
dodgeball
sport
team.
now.
Yeah.
really?
I think it's like an
This is
ESPN
my
professional
sport.
sport. Yeah.
This is
I would
Ocho.
thrive in
Watch
Yeah,
it.
dodgeball.
with the Ocho, yeah.
I
my
love
God, that's
dodgeball.
funny.
I would love this as like a team building
We
activity.
should.
I
Let's
would
invite
love to
everybody
pelt
back.
balls
Yeah,
at
Eric
Let's
with a
invite
dodgeball.
everybody back that's been here,
No, I'm talking about like team
internally.
building.
Oh, team building. I wouldn't call it team building.
I would love to throw
Team
things at you.
hurting.
Great.
Team hurting.
All right,
I'm going to be involved in this.
Dirk, you're part of the team,
Dirk's
Dirk.
like, I'm all in.
What are some mistakes that
Headband.
you've seen parents make through the years? Like you've just like, oh man.
The easy answer is those parents that live vicariously through their kids. That's the easy answer, right? The more complicated kind of in-depth answer is you brought up some really good points of team sports gives you a great foundation of hard work and work ethic, setting goals, accomplishing them, all stuff that you can use throughout your whole life, right? That's stuff that you can use in your job every single day. And I think the mistake that some parents make is there's that aspect, but then what they do is the parents focus more on like accomplishments, or like I'm the leading scorer on this team, or I've got the most tackles in this region, or I've got the best field goal percentage on my team. And they focus more on the accomplishments rather than the lessons that you make, because you're not going to win every game. A shot's going to get past you. You're going to miss a shot at the end of the game. You're going to lose. Everybody loses. So if your whole identity is tied into the winning and the accomplishments instead of the life lessons, I think that's a problem.
What do you do when you lose? Because you don't always get to say
You
it
don't
either.
know it. I know.
Right.
So it's how do you overcome that? And if you've put so much pressure on the kid for the results instead of the journey, I think that's how you can.
It's all
you can
between.
ruin it.
It's the activity. It's the grind.
It is.
Be in love with the grind, and whatever that is, which actually produces the results. I had a question for all three of you. Just curious. So, if you basically are hiring somebody for another position, wherever that looks like, do you position an athlete ahead of somebody else in the
100%.
staff?
Yep.
100%.
Okay, and tell me why. I'm just curious.
For all those reasons that I just mentioned, and I will put a team sport ahead of an individual sport. Wrestling, swimming.
No golf.
No golf.
I love
No
golf.
golf. No golf.
But because
You're a golfer. Where's your membership with? That's what you got to ask.
okay.
It's
well,
like,
and the reason is because those kids can have a whole bunch of individual success and their team can be garbage, right? So they I don't look as that as a full team sport, even though there's a golf team even though there's a swim team, right? So I look at team sports, and I would throw cheerleading in with this as well, because that's a team sport. But I know
Gymnast.
I know that they've got a work ethic. They know how to set goals. They know how to reach them. They know how to go through adversity, and those core things that you can't really teach. That's got to be,
I feel that way
ingrained.
about veterans.
Yeah.
If I see that come across my desk, it's
Right.
because the
Yeah.
discipline.
The discipline.
discipline,
yeah.
yes.
The loyalty. For
And
a number of different reasons, not just because I'm an Army mom.
Yeah, but nowadays, I think a lot of it is work ethic.
Yes.
And dealing with adversity.
Yes.
Because, my kid's 20 and I see him trying to get a job and he doesn't have a team sports background, and you'll see him struggle with adversity and rejection and striving hard and working through goals. But then you'll see kids that are on team sports, and it's like, I had to work my butt off to make a team.
Right.
Or I had to
fight for your starting position
exactly
constantly.
Or I'm constantly, like, I don't want to get cut. I've got to make a team. And so you can transfer
those skills
into a
the
bunch of
1
different
a.m.
categories.
chemistry homework is how Tiffany handles the 1 a.m. reporting. The same
thing.
skill set.
Yeah.
Just, years and years and years separate. All right, strike that. Spencer, what's the real cost? And I'm not just talking about the financial obligation. Time, obviously there's a financial expense.
Yep.
And you've alluded to that
Yes.
in your previous comments. But what's the real cost that a family should be considering before they sign on the dotted line, before they move their kid
Yep.
from traditional to what should they be considering?
So there's the headline cost, which is like what your tuition is going to be for the year. And then there's all the underlying costs. So it's like if you're going to go buy a car, they might show you this price, but then you're not getting all the other little piece of it. So you have to be very clear with the club that you're going to join of what those total annual costs look like.
Okay.
What's the tuition? What about all the tournaments we go to? Are there going to be hotel rooms we're going to need to rent out? Is there going to be, what's the uniform? All the other additional stuff. Some parents come up to me that play at other clubs, and they say, hey, the coach wants to go to Europe, and it's $20,000-$30,000, and blah blah blah, and I'm like, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Don't go. You know what I mean? Soccer is popular, I think, around the world because it's not based on money. And in this country, it's a little bit sometimes different because we do have more of what they call a pay-to-play model. It's a little bit more expensive here than growing up in some countries that will help athletes kind of find that professional track without having to spend a lot of money. We're trying to do that as well. We have, scholarship potentials for kids that are on those tracks. And so I really love that our owner and our CEO and the soccer GM, they put that into play for us, and we love promoting that. Not every club can do that. Not every club has the finance to be able to do that. So that's one thing for us that's awesome. So the parents just need to be aware of an annualized budget versus the headline budget. Time-wise. Where are we traveling throughout the year? Some teams stay local, and you're traveling to local towns, and that's fine. Some teams, though, are on these schedules where you're going to Orlando, Naples, Jacksonville, maybe Atlanta. So, they have these really aggressive kind of travel programs, and you just want to make sure that if your kid's going to be selected by these teams, that you can keep up with it, or that there's a plan in place to get them appropriate.
But you're getting that schedule at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're not being surprised like 3
But
days
sometimes
before
you're so happy that your kid makes the team
Right.
that you're saying, oh, we can do that.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine. We'll make it work.
Okay.
And then it's
It's like, whoa. It's like, as somebody who, like, a parent who
And
pays
that's-
that bill
yeah.
for traveling, it's like $20,000 to $25,000 a year.
Oh, that's very
between
specific.
hotels, so you're looking at like anywhere from like, am I allowed to talk real numbers or no?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I mean, it's like usually like $2,500 to $3,500 for registration, but then the uniform package is like $400. The hotels, the amount that you travel, the airfare. If you have a family of 5, are you bringing a family of 5? Are you just traveling? Because it takes over so much of your life that a lot of families want to kind of do some
Travel
weekends
together.
together and
Yeah.
travel together. So then it's like, for me, it's a family of 5 that goes, and it's 5 airplane tickets. It's usually 2 rooms because we're, whatever. It's a lot of people. So I think it's like 20 grand. And you know what I think that we miss these days, and which our club, the soccer clubs are kind of starting to bring back, is fundraising. What happened to fundraising? I did that all the time. We did
your
car
booster
washes.
clubs.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did car washes. We asked for money outside of Publix's and with our
Selling raffle
signs.
tickets
And,
and yeah.
there's so much that I feel like, we started doing that again because it is expensive, and there's some kids that are super talented that can't afford, which is why it's nice that you guys are doing the
Yeah. Oh,
scholarship
yeah.
stuff and
No, I love
working
that.
with families. Because there's kids that are super talented.
Because
that
it's not the
can't afford it.
registration, it's that it is the travel.
It's
travel.
the everything
travel
else.
team.
Travel.
It's the
You're going to be
everything else.
traveling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gas costs money.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Every-
So yeah, you just have to kind of understand the commitment and make sure that it's the right one for you. And so and that's maybe kind of that's not everybody that's travel soccer. I don't want to make
Right.
it sound like the world of travel soccer is
It's super, super
unattainable. It's most of
Right.
it is okay. There's just a certain highest level of league
right.
that really
Takes it to the next level.
does
And here's the dumb
require a
question.
lot.
do all of your teams travel? Don't laugh at me. Do all of your teams travel like outside of Broward County or Palm Beach, or just some of them stay
No.
regional?
Mo-
That's probably just such a dumb
Like
question.
a travel team is
I
usually
know,
like
it's a travel team.
California, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia,
All of them?
New Jersey. I don't do what.
Nobody's
is there
a regional travel team?
No, I mean I would
Isn't
say
that
this.
rec, though?
No,
No?
the club travel teams around here, for the most part, you're staying in Broward County. You're maybe going into your
Palm Beach,
tri-state. Let's call it tri-state travel. I'm sorry, tri-county travel.
Tri-County.
Sorry,
Dade,
I grew up in
Palm Beach,
Jersey. We're,
Broward.
we're tri-state up there. It's still in my head.
So Dade, Broward, Palm Beach.
Yeah, that's the
Most of them.
core of your travel.
Okay.
Sometimes you're going to go to tournaments, Orlando, Naples, maybe Jacksonville,
Right,
somewhere else.
right.
Or if you're a little bit older, 15, 16, 17, you're going to go do a airline travel. You're going to go to Charlotte. You're going to go to
So your
somewhere
A
else.
teams would be going.
Yeah, because
outside
once you start doing your what they call college scouting camps, you
Mm-hmm.
have to really go and find. You go to Dallas and you
Right.
spend a week there playing in tournaments and stuff like that. But that's really kind of at that later in age groups where your kid's already dedicated to wanting to play in college. It's not at the when your kid's 7, 8, 9,
Right,
10,
you're
11,
not-
12,
you're
13,
not- yeah.
they're local. They're staying here. And then there's that elite team will be the one team that's kind of
Do you know what I feel like
traveling.
changed probably the most with soccer? And I don't know if it's with any other sport, but when we were growing up, we got recruited from your high school.
Yeah.
This now you get
Oh,
recruited
yeah.
from your club team. You get recruited from talent ID camps, from showcases. That's a benefit
Yeah.
of being on a travel team if you want to play at that level, because a lot of times your coach has a lot of those connections that they put a word in for you, or hey, check out this player. Or they're going to go to their talent ID camp. So being part of a travel team at that level is important, I think, for those.
Yeah, I don't think scouts watch high school anymore.
No, not at all.
I know
But
with our high school, we have a really good soccer program at our high school, and the club teams
more.
they were top priority over the high school. So
Ah.
if there was any overlap,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
the kids all went to the
Right.
club team, and the high school
Right.
team had to make.
Some kids aren't allowed to play high school.
High school, right?
We
Like
never
if you play
had-
for a
yeah.
club team or a travel
Conflict.
team, a lot of them you're not allowed to play high school.
If you
See,
get
we
hurt.
Unless
never
it's like
had
a heritage or a
Yeah,
Yeah.
we our soccer guys let the kids play both, but there was definitely like your club is top
It's
priority,
over, yeah.
and then you can go play
Yeah.
high school if you want.
How interesting. I think you might have converted me. We got so many random questions from people who wanted, when we said we're going to do a travel team episode, it was like, really? Ask them this. So we couldn't fit them all in, but we're going to put them in the episode notes. So what I'll do is I'm going to send you any questions, and if you have any responses that we can add into the commentary. I'm not using any of the language, the YouTube language, but whatever. People have questions. We're going to ask you for more. So if you have a question that we did not respond to, check the comments on the YouTube thing, and
It'll all be
I'll
there.
learn it.
It'll all
I'll
be
learn
there.
it,
It'll be
and
all-
it'll all be there. And we also have a free download for you. 10 questions that you should ask your club before you sign on the bottom line to make sure that this is right for your family, because this is not right for every family. Got anything else? Take us
No,
home.
I really appreciate you guys, our guests coming out today and giving us perspective on football, soccer, and all the things, and the competitive nature of athletes themselves. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, guys. And we'll see you
Thank you.
next time on This Is Now Parenting Teens Today.